been on there? Ever been on there?
The Cop?
Yeah.
No.
Can't imagine.
No.
No. I have. I actually took flowers after Hillsborough and was stood on the Cop. It was an extraordinarily moving occasion, and Kenny spotted me. I was just leaving. Kenny spotted me. Oi, where are you going? And I spent the rest of the day with him inside the sanctum. There was a service at Tranmere which we all attended, and then when we came back, spent a good deal of time in the lounge with those who had lost relatives, Andy. But that was my only time.
2019-20 Premier League end of season trophy presentation.
What a boy.
What a player.
Just for him, by the way, actually tonight, Andy, very satisfying evening. Jordan Henderson was one of his. He signed
Yes, he was.
Henderson.
Yes, he was. Yes, all those years ago. Correct.
Fergie criticised, didn't he? Said he didn't run the right way.
Didn't run properly.
Henderson's had the last laugh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think in amongst all the various wires that have been leaving Anfield tonight and the communications coming from that stadium, we have found Peter Drury, so we should return and enjoy the rest of this with him.
And now look, Shankly, Paisley, Fagan, Dalglish, Jurgen Klopp, from another city in another land, and yet somehow born to this one. At once he understood Liverpool and Liverpool understood him. Simply a transformational leader. His values are their values, his ambitions match theirs, his clenched fist, his sparkling smile, his irresistible charisma, and his approval by the man who, with a nod and a wink and a hug, has passed on across the generations Liverpool's baton of greatness. Dalglish builds a bridge to Klopp. A beautiful moment, Jim.
Yeah, well, Jurgen Klopp has been the real game changer in all of this. You can look at certain players and think, yes, they made a difference, and they did in the likes of Van Dijk and Alisson. But Jurgen Klopp has turned this club right around, and it's almost going.
Made this, of course, but how special Liverpool intend to make it for them. That is why it is happening on the Kop. This presentation not for a platform on the players' turf. This one is happening on the people's territory. Poignant and considerate. Liverpool's message to their fans is that this one is for you. First up the staff, and then the non-medal winning. And now we are into the business. Alisson, considered by many the missing piece.
Well, you have to go back to Kiev and that horrible night for Loris Karius, and Liverpool had to do something about that position, and Alisson has delivered spectacularly for them.
Adrian has deputised more than he might have expected right from the very first night here when he came on against Norwich City, and when he has deputised, he has done so ably. But perhaps there is no deputy anywhere for Virgil van Dijk. Composure itself, utterly imperturbable.
He's the Anfield rock of that defence. He has made a remarkable difference on the football pitch, and not just because of his football, his composure, but his leadership, his command. A stunning introduction.
Roberto Firmino took the wrong turn. He certainly didn't this evening when he rose high to pummel in an Alexander-Arnold cross. Liverpool's number 9 with a proper centre-forwards goal. And well, we will certainly remember the goals of Fabinho this season. When he scores, he doesn't do half a job. He lets rip. Wijnaldum on the score sheet tonight as well. And he's got the showbiz shades.
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, he's trying to look super cool. And to be honest, he's pulled it off.
It has the look of a rock concert, this. With the light show. And he has the look of a rock star. Well, if Firmino and Salah don't get you, Sadio Mane will. The Holy Trinity up front for Liverpool has surpassed anything anyone else has to offer. His sheer dynamism, his different level. What a goal from Naby Keita tonight. He chose his night all right. Feeling the fun, feeling the rhythm. Joe Gomez has grown into his Liverpool first team shirt. Van Dijk's preferred partner, and for good reason.
He has it all, and he has a huge career ahead of him, Joe Gomez.
Well, you'd recruit Divock Origi if only to play in the derby. Everton light up his eyes. He scores special goals in the special games. An understudy, but an understudy who knows the lines. We feel special delight for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's missed so much in his career, not least since he came to Liverpool, missed the European night, but scored on the Premier League party night. Tried taking that one away from him. And then there's the Scouser. Of them all, he is the one who can say, I was born to this. My club, my city. Thank you, boss.
Alexander-Arnold, Route 66. What a player, what a talent.
And from right to left, they have become twins. What one does, the other matches. The coverage of yards, of miles, week on week, month on month, by those fullbacks is beyond ordinary. As indeed is James Milner, as ordinarily as he tries to portray himself. This now is a 3. Nobody will ever rob him of that goal at Old Trafford in the title year. Dejan Lovren, sturdily too, a part of a Liverpool backline which at times this season has felt impenetrable. And then there's Mo, as if you could forget. Tiptoeing up on another 20-goal season in the Premier League, and this time a season that is adorned with a medal.
A smile on Mo Salah, as wide as Anfield.
Matip, the other centre-half, they've had options there, and sometimes this season they have needed options. They've turned from those 4, and none has let them down. Minamino's still learning the Anfield way, but he will learn. Liverpool's recruitment has been brilliant of late, and the early signs are that this won't be a dud either. Once he feels part of the scenery, once he's scoring his goals, he will have something to add. Xherdan Shaqiri, well, he had his moment in the derby too. A trickster who's had to wait in the shadows this year, but gets his moment in front of the lights now. Nico Williams, another for whom the decade ahead could be something enviable. When he has had his minutes towards the end, he has looked entirely at home. And gather the medal of which, at the start of this campaign, he surely cannot have dreamt. And finally, Jordan Henderson, 30 years old, he surely cannot have dreamt. And finally, Jordan Henderson, 30 years old, the 30 years. The captain, a Dalglish investment, once doubted by some. The boy born in Sunderland in the summer of 1990 when Liverpool last ruled the land, and who grew one day to lift the European Cup, and a year later to follow now in the fabled footsteps of Ron Yates and Tommy Smith, Emlyn Hughes and Phil Thompson, Graham Souness and Alan Hansen, to skip a Liverpool to the title. At the end of the season they feared may never end. The longest wait, a generation on and more, for the 19th time in their history, for the first time in the Premier League, in the never-to-be-forgotten year of 2020, the champions of England again at last are Liverpool. Champions of the world, they are the champions of Europe, and they are the champions of their own land. In this moment, no bird flies higher than the Liver bird. No club anywhere carries the kudos of Liverpool Football Club. Game for game, the quickest champions of the Premier League era, and yet the latest. Not 30 years of hurt, 30 years through which twice they have conquered Europe. They've won the UEFA Cup, 3 FA Cups, 4 League Cups. They've not been hurting, but how they have been itching. And Jim, he brought it them.
He did. It's a club that will always succeed at a certain level, Peter, no matter what happens. But the bread and butter has always been the league, whether it be the First Division back in the day or whether it's the Premier League of today. And this is historic. This is hugely emotional. But those guys under Jurgen Klopp